Breaking news that's still developing around northern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland. It is the flood threat. Northern New South Wales, there are multiple evacuation orders in place. Residents in Tumbulgum and surrounding areas in the Richmond-Tweed region are in high danger and must evacuate to high grounds. The Tweed River levee was overtopped yesterday and peaked at 6.51 metres in the afternoon with major flooding. The river is expected to fall below the major flood level at 10 a.m. this morning. Unprecedented flooding is occurring in Lismore, which has seen its worst flood in 70 years, with the Wilsons River peaking at 14.4 metres yesterday. It's currently at 13.31 metres and is expected to fall into the afternoon. Residents in Southgate, Bushgrove and Cowper, low-lying properties in Ulmarra, Iluka, Maclean and Lawrence in the Clarence-Numbucca region are under evacuation orders and must leave if it's safe to do so. Major flooding is occurring at Grafton, Ulmarra and Maclean, similar to the March floods last year. The Maclean levee is expected to overtop this morning after the Clarence River peaked at 7.66 metres early this morning. Residents in low-lying areas of East Bellingen were ordered to evacuate by 8 p.m. last night after the Bureau issued warnings of moderate flooding, which is occurring at Urunga and Thora. Authorities are warning the weather system is moving further south towards metropolitan Sydney and the south coast, and flash flooding is highly likely to occur in the coming days. The situation in the northern rivers of New South Wales is dire, as desperate people trapped on roofs in Lismore beg to be rescued. The town has been submerged and isolated following consistent torrential rainfall. Lismore is home to more than 40,000 residents who are facing a flood crisis unprecedented in the town's history. Kenny Heatley has this report.
Situated on a low floodplain, Lismore locals are used to flooding, but nobody in the town expected this. It's the worst flood disaster in history. Emergency services and the SES overwhelmed with calls and unable to respond to all the desperate people needing help. Some SES volunteers are even trapped themselves. This footage was taken from people trapped on a motel roof. No one in sight and no one to help. Floodwaters rage below as this mother and child try to shelter themselves from the relentless rain any way they can. This photo taken by Eddie, who is also trapped on her roof. She says all her animals are dead. They couldn't be saved. The Defence Force, who have been conducting aerial rescues across the border, are unable to help here as the weather is making it too dangerous to fly. Intense storms have been dumping rainfall upwards of 200 millimetres in a 6-hour period. The Mayor, Steve Krieg, posting desperate pleas for help on Facebook for anyone able to rescue a pregnant woman trapped on her roof. With calls going unanswered, people are resorting to social media, posting their addresses and begging to be rescued. Some say they are trapped inside their homes, standing in cold floodwater, risking hypothermia and unable to access the roof. The SES is calling out to anyone who has a boat and a licence to help people any way they can, but there's just not enough.
There's a whole heap of people with boats on that side, dropping into the bridge. They're walking across the bridge to this side, and we're just ferrying them up to dry land.
We're waiting at the house. We've been there since 9 o'clock. But these fellas are too busy. They do a wonderful job. See, I got arthritis in both hips, and I just can't. But never mind.
Make no mistake, this is a life-threatening situation. Hopes for one man missing is fading. Police fear he was swept away down a drain. Roads that are not underwater are being cut by landslides, only serving to add to the enormity of the problems people face here. 467 millimetres of rain fell in Lismore in 24 hours, a record for any month with data dating back to 1884. It's even heavier than when Cyclone Debbie hit the region in 2017. Evacuation orders were issued last night, but for many it was too late. The town's 50-year flood record was broken by 5 a.m. and continued to rise, completely overwhelming the flood levee, the last line of defence. The Wilson River is expected to surge well above 14 metres, more than 2 metres above the 1954 flood record. Flights are grounded to the whole region, with major flooding extending south to Grafton. Right now, the focus is preserving life and rescuing as many people as possible.
Let me state unequivocally, our priority is about saving lives at this time. All of our emergency services, led by the SES, are focused entirely on people, rescuing people, saving lives.
The rain is expected to ease by tomorrow, but recovery will be slow here. It's an event that will likely change this town forever. Kenny Heatley, Sky News.